Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new episode of Eve Echoes. Tonight on the show, we are going to be announcing the giveaway winners for this past community question of the week. And the question was, now that we have scanners, did you ever find or felt the need to turn to piracy? And the first winner is Basil Robin. With the introduction of scanners, I have started roaming low-sec and null-sec for PvP. One of the problems I had before was the time you had to spend looking for targets, warping all around the place to find the exact location of your target. Don't get me wrong, there is still a lot of warping involved, but it makes it easier. In terms of strategy, knowing what you are warping to also helps greatly. As for the ship trees, your analysis is spot on. I feel they have pretty much shot themselves in the foot with it. I don't see how they can make it move forward now without the next level just being a small upgrade on the previous one, which will really get boring after a while. And in the meantime, reworking it would be a pretty huge task. Really glad you managed to find a way into testing waters with the narrow scanner and find some good quality content in PvP. In regards to your second part of the comment, yeah, that is pretty much correct. And there is one solution, which is branching out. And branching out is something also another user suggested in the comments, I think on Discord. Just leaving the ship tree as is right now, and now moving forward, just branching off and doing something separate, like having specialized ships, and like in EVE Online, having the hardened and veteran ships like 80% resistance across the board, or insane bonuses and stuff, but really requiring skill investment, at least, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 months in order to be able to fly it, not benefit from it, no, just to be able to hop inside of it and use it. This is pretty much the simple concept of return of investment. You invest time and skills in order to fly that ship, and you get a decent reward, which is a ship with high stats that can outperform other ships of its tier level. We'll see how it goes out. There's no rumors, there's nothing at all in regards to how the ship trees will evolve and how the ships will be developed from now on. But given the fact that many players are starting to reach tech level 10, it begs the question, what will future content in terms of ships look like? Moving over to the next winner, and it's Aurelio with the comment, I was deep into scanning the first couple of weeks, but had to pull back significantly because the player base tanked so severely. Scanning is so one-sided that most everyone quit missions and moved to nullsec, where narrow scanning has little use. This is one point that a lot of players have been pointing out, and with the introduction of scanners and with no actual cool content, like to justify the risk of getting scanned, just running the I don't know, the storyline missions, we could say that was mostly a commodity. So that was the only main attraction of low-sec, and with scanning being released, well, most of the players just stick to high-sec because there's so much content that can be done just in high-sec without jumping into low-sec. The hard mission and the expert missions, now that we've reached tech level 10, just give out around 15 to 20 million ISK per hour return just by running those and not venturing into low-sec at all. So is it worth it? Well, not worth it going into low-sec. That's pretty much what Aurelio found out, and indeed I have been observing the same thing. One of the important things that I want to point out is the fact that once the Chinese servers start opening up, you've noticed that there was a significant drop in bans that the NetEase social media has been posting, with the bans, and I think several months ago it was like the tens of thousands of accounts being banned. Now it's just like 500. What happened to all those players? They didn't ban them all because it would just keep creating new accounts. But with the Chinese server being open, well, most of the bot farmers and most of the population that were running bots, and also a lot of the Chinese players, pretty much moved to the Chinese server. And this emphasizes what Aurelio mentioned. the player base tanked severely. There's parts of New Eden that you can just roam and you'll find no foot of player for tens of systems across. Perhaps new players will start coming up to the server, and this will pretty much be our player base, which is the rest of the world without the Chinese players that pretty much will be moving to the Chinese server. Thank you all for participating, and congratulations to the two winners, Basil Rubin and Aurelio. Please leave a comment below with your in-game name so I can get that and pass that information down to the people responsible for handing you the prizes. And also stick around until the end of the video, because we'll be having yet another community question of the week with 2 Omega combo clones ready to go to randomly pick 2 winners. The main course of today's video will pretty much be a discussion about the tech level 10, or at least reaching tech level 10, what to expect. A lot of the players have already reached tech level 10. However, there's still some things that I want to discuss, and this is pretty much located in the Trello and the developer's roadmap. So let's take a look at the June update. The June update had an interesting point inside, and it was the holographic reconstruction. Now, there were 2 main theories of what the holographic reconstruction would represent. One of them was the fact that maybe we would get character creation and customization and no longer be running with those dummy portraits that everyone is sharing around and about. The second theory was that we would be getting a ghost fitting, like a panel that you could just toy around with fittings without the use of an external tool, or I don't know, running stuff and doing math on paper, what can fit, what cannot fit, how much is how much. An experimental fitting screen. Now, both of these theories were pretty much proven wrong. I, for one, even thought that this holographic reconstruction is just going to be pushed back into a later deployment. But in fact, holographic reconstruction was none other than Nanocores. Yeah, I must say, I was pretty much disappointed. I was expecting something more of this holographic reconstruction, and honestly, a Nanocore just gives you the skin and some attributes that doesn't really match with a holographic reconstruction feature. Again, this might have been a language barrier, but nonetheless, I'm disappointed. It was pretty cryptic. It left room for a lot of interpretation, and some of us really got hyped about the opportunity of having a fitting screen, experimental fitting screen, or character customization screen. None of those came to fruition. This was just the Nanocore feature. This is a thumbs down from me. Now, what to expect in August? We have nothing planned for release in July, so this month is pretty much going to be empty. But this month we will be getting an anniversary celebration, an arena mode. Also, the entire tutorial system is going to be completely reworked, a complete beginner experience. We will be having loyalty points from arena that we can get. Also, secret stores at which we can trade our loyalty points and get special thingies, gizmos, you know, for us to have fun. And one of the things that was promised to be contained inside the secret stores that you can just buy things off from with the loyalty points will be the Sisters of Eve ships. There's no information about Mortar's Legion ships. Sorry. They only said that they will be introducing Sisters of Eve ships now, probably along with other content, but no official information about Mortar's Legion ships being introduced. Nonetheless, having Sisters of Eve ships is going to be insanely awesome. I have no idea if they will be reworking those ships. In the betas, the Sisters of Eve ships were pretty much the bane of any frigate, thanks to the bonuses in drones, and also with the ability to scan properly. You might be finding out that this ratio is going to be much better than the Arbitrator 3 Covert Ops. There's also going to be another update to insurance, hopefully this will be containing that update that we were promised, in which the insurance system will place more buy orders to compensate and to remove duplicates from the game instead of creating more duplicates. Also, we will be getting some of those promised modules since the launch of Sovereignty. And yeah, it's basic features and pirate detection array, which is the corporation structures. Now, these are the items that will be anchored around the Citadel, not the capsule outpost. There's not going to be items that you can fit on the capsule outpost. These will be items that you just anchor around the corporation Citadel, and you get some bonuses. Most likely the spawning and increased chance of spawning of dead spaces and special anomalies. At least that's what pirate detection array would mean. And I think you can pretty much confirm that if you go into the evechoes.com website and search for the news piece that was mentioning the stages of Sovereignty and what structures, what will they do. And past August, we'll be having the September deployment, which will be containing capital ships, Dreadnaughts, along with cynosural fields that you can use to jump. Remember, capital ships, combat capital ships cannot use jump gates to jump because they're too big to fit. Also, we will be getting skills and modules for those. But capital ships, the Dreadnaughts to be more precise, pose an interesting question. Such as the freighters, they were released, but they have little use because the delivery system is pretty much bonkers. Now, in case of Dreadnaughts, this is something that I discussed on the interview that Hashiv had with me. You can find the link with the interview in the video description. It was pretty much on what will be the role of the Dreadnought. Well, Dreadnaughts by definition are siege weapons, siege engines. So their purpose will be mostly to destroy stations. Now, we all know the stations have a damage limit per tick that you can deal. The limit is basically just how much damage you can do inside that tick. Any more damage you do afterwards is basically just going to get ignored. Right now, with a fleet of 10 to 15 battleships, you can deal more damage than that limit, and which means a lot of your damage is just going to get ignored, and you can notice that in message on your screen when you're shooting the station. Basically, you're just doing 0 damage because the limit was reached. Now, a Dreadnought, because it's a siege engine, it's going to do a lot of damage. It's going to be poop against other types of ships, of course. So, in terms of shooting down stations, I think 1 or 2 Dreadnoughts is going to be enough just to reach that limit, or we might even find that 1 Dreadnought can reach that limit of damage per tick, meaning its use is it's just going to be redundant. Of course, you can have just 1 pilot shooting that station, while having a separate support fleet or the rest of the fleet having to focus on dealing with the enemy fleet, with the defenders. But still, it's going to be pretty sad just seeing 1 Dreadnought shooting a station. It's definitely going to be a focus fire from the defense fleet. And keep in mind, capital ships, at least Dreadnoughts, cannot jump out via Cyno if they are inside a bubble. So it will only take one interdictor to keep the Dreadnought in the spot that he's in, which, you know, he's going to shoot the station, he's going to put in reinforce. The support fleet is pretty much going to scram around and just, I don't know, engage, disengage, go back to where they came from. But the Dreadnought, he's going to be in a lot of shit. So how much of a purpose will a Dreadnought have on a battlefield? I guess we'll have to see in September, but I'm really skeptical about having these unless they decide to, I don't know, remove that limit of damage per tick. But if they do that, then Dreadnoughts are still relevant because you can just form up 20 battleships and you will completely ruin a station very, very fast. Now let's switch over to the discussion about tech level 10, because, well, I've reached tech level 10, and this is pretty much the unlock screen that you get with information about what you've unlocked for tech level 10. And I've been studying these unlock screens ever since I started leveling up from tech level 2, 3, 4, blah blah blah. And Good lord, guys, clean up your code. What is this? This is pure garbage. Nothing here mostly works in terms of clicking on it and trying to see information. And most of the ships that you get, you can already fly because they're tech level 0, they're faction ships. Also, there's some ships that were not supposed to be here, like the Astera, the Stratius, the Orthrus. There's a lot of stuff here that's decrepit because they were removed from the game. Come on, mates, clean up your code. This is pretty much an embarrassment. Also, we have the Orca there. There's no Orca in the game, not even in the ship trees. What the hell, mates? So let's discuss about what to expect from tech level 10. Well, let's just take a look at a random ship tree. Why? Why just one random ship tree? Well, they're pretty much the same. It's just the same stuff with a different visual. The best tech level 10 ships, in my opinion, are pretty much the Mark II Interceptors, which will outperform, I think they're already outperforming, the faction frigates. And this is something that me, Sovereign, and Benzi pretty much pointed out some time ago. The next ships, which is, I don't know, the Explorer type ships, they're a nice addition, but with the introduction of Sisters of Eves in August, these ships are pretty much going to be the cheaper version of the Sisters of Eve ships, and of course without the combat elements. And now we reach the most dumbest ship type of them all, which is the Mark III bombers. Now, the Mark III bombers were supposed to be an improvement from the Mark II bombers, but of course Mark II bombers were already bad, so instead of making the Mark III bombers better, they just built up on the fact that they were bad and made them even worse. Congratulations, you can't even kill a retriever with these bombers. So these types of bombers, Mark II and Mark IIIs, are only useful in, I don't know, shooting stations, and of course shooting large targets like battleships and, well, I don't know, attack battle cruisers, you know, the ones that use large guns. Other than that, they're pretty much dead in the water. They might become useful when the bomb launchers will be introduced into the game, but we have no information about bomb launchers being added to the stealth bombers, at least for now. We got some destroyers, which are pretty much poop. We got some additional cruisers that were introduced, which is kind of neat. We got a Mark II logistic ships, which has some improvements, but again, it's just the way that we talked over and over again. It's the same thing, just added 5% more extra bonuses, and there you have it. You have the Mark III, Mark II, Mark V, Mark whatever. It's that verticality that will not give you any satisfaction of reaching a high tier, at least in tech level 10, because there's nothing new here. Pretty much everything else down below is the same thing. You just hop onto this and it's just going to be a better version of the ship that you've been already flying. It's not going to give you a diverse opportunity of picking something for a specific role and doing some amazing things. No, it's just going to be the same ship, just 5% more bonuses and that's it. Which brings us to tech level 10 battleships, which are an improvement because there are something new there. It's the Maelstrom, it's the Rock, it's the Hyperion, and it's the Abaddon. Those are going to be good ships. Now, the Mark II variants of existing ships, well, if you haven't had the time to invest skills into, let's say, advanced battleships, which is pretty much a requirement for these Mark II battleships, like in the case of the Dominix II or in case of the Scorpion II. You see, the second line of bonuses uses Advanced Battleship Command level 5. Now this skill takes around 30 days to complete in level 5. So if you're just planning on hopping into, oh my god, I've got the Mark II battleship, I'm already flying a Dominix, we're just going to hop into the Dominix 2 and surprise, you're going to be dealing less damage, or you will have shittier range or shittier optimals and whatever, because if you haven't invested yet in this skill, fully, the bonuses that you already have from the ship, from the skills that you have on the tech level 9 battleships, are more than good compared to what you have prepared for the Mark II battleships. So overall, at this moment, if you haven't invested into advanced battleship skills, getting the Mark II variants of these battleships, which is the Dominics, the Armageddon, the Typhoon, and the Scorpion, they're pretty much a no-no, and it's not even worth it compared to the prices that we've been seeing on the market. 3 billion for Dominics 2. You hop on it, you will have less damage or less range than the Dominics 1. What the hell is that? So, my recommendation for these Mark II battleships is to just wait a bit until the prices calm down, and of course try to train that advanced battleship into level 5 so you can benefit the most out of your ship. And we've reached that point in the video where we have to announce the next community question of the week for the giveaway that will be held next week, and 2 new randomly picked winners will be selected to get 1 Omega Combo clone each. So this week's question is going to be, how do you feel about the Nanocore system? Have you had the chance of fitting one to your ship? Have you had the chance of experimenting with those advanced nanocores? Are they interesting to you, or just don't serve any purpose at the moment? Is it worth to invest 1.5 billion in a nanocore that just gives you 10% and increases your ship insurance exponentially? Please comment below and let me know. If you're enjoying this video and the type of content that I'm doing here on the channel, please drop a like and a subscribe. Thank you very much. And if you really want to help keep this channel alive, there's a YouTube channel membership, there's a join button right below, and you can pretty much help me keep this channel alive for a monthly donation of at least $2. That's it for today. I hope you guys learned something. Thank you guys for watching. A very big shout out to my channel supporters, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.